getting a reading for Persea gratisma, or avocado oil, and some ethanol. Is this a urine sample? What are we supposed to be doing? Okay, well that's what the DNA test is reading for us. Some avocado, seed, and some booze. So yeah, we'll just look on those results and work on them a little bit. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel, Leilani of Barbados. I am fresh out the lab, as you can see. There are some wild rumors circulating about DNA testing. Some are saying that the royal family wants to have Harry DNA tested. Of course, you remember the rumor about Harry possibly being the son of James Hewitt, who was a close friend of Diana. However, Diana always denied that, and so did Hewitt, saying that they only met after Prince Harry was born. But apparently the crown has had enough. The royal family's had enough. They are tired of his disloyalty. They wonder if the disloyalty is as a result of him not really being related and knowing that. He's just behaving so differently than how he was raised. He has no affiliation. He's leaking things. He's just doing the most to disrupt everything. And if it weren't for the Queen's passing, he would have done more at this point. So there's that. But there's also DNA testing being called for Archie and Lilibet. People want to know if they really exist. You remember the whole debacle with Meghan not using the OBGYN of the royal family and not even telling us about the birth of Lilibet when it happened in California. A lot of those signs people are saying are because something is awry. Either the children don't exist, or if they exist, they're not really theirs. And there is that one little hitch that the children must be born of this woman's body. So unfortunately, there's that draconian as it may be law, and the royal family is now calling for those details, especially since instead of keeping themselves quiet and everyone just wishing them the best in America, they are doing these tours and contravening everything that is going on within the royal household. So since they want to be out and about and begging for titles and harassing people and stalking people, even to the point of trying to negotiate or strong arm them with this memoir book and all these podcasts and everything, why don't we put everything out in the open? And it's quite sad because this is very Maury Povich and very unlike how the royal family normally conducts themselves. But at this point, enough is enough, and they're asking for details. Who are these children? Where are their parents? Who are their parents? I don't agree so much with the Harry DNA. I think that's very obvious, and that's been hashed and rehashed that he is not the son of James Hewitt. He definitely has the eyes of his father and the Queen. You can see that the features are there. I don't know why anyone would dare think that Princess Diana would dare think that she could get away with something like that. I mean, that's just for the movies. But for the children, I do agree that there is some need for clarification. It's just been too many rumors. And let's face it, Meghan Markle has made a laughing stock of this entire institution. All over the world, people conduct their business privately and get on with things. And she's not allowed that to happen for the royal family, who of all the people in the world have always been very private about private affairs, as you should. If you remember when she did the Oprah interview, she talked about how other people have stepped back from the royal family and I'm just doing what other people are doing and I just want the same equity as everybody else. She completely misunderstood everything. She thought she was copying other people, but that's not what other people did. Other people, like the Princess Royal Anne, voluntarily sacrificed the titles so that her children could live normal lives. Had nothing to do with moving to America. They stayed in England and they just gave up the titles, and that was that. Nobody even noticed it, really. You have Sophie and Edward, who also did the same for their children. No one noticed it, really. But if you're going to also move to America, also demand security from the Royal Police Force in England, and also not do public work, and also want titles, it's like, who was she copying? Once the DNA testing comes back and we know the results,
We have the results.
thank you, doctor. Let's have a look. She still may or may not obtain the titles for her children, Meghan. And then if he doesn't give them the titles, we'll really never know. We'll never know. The reason for that is they are not in the UK. That's it. That's the bottom line. And there's a slimming down that's happening all across Europe of royal families. The Swedish royal family, King Gustav is only allowing Princess Victoria, who is the heir to the throne, her children, to inherit the titles. Princess Victoria was under a great deal of stress in her youth. She did not fit well with the duties, and it overwhelmed her to the point where she had eating disabilities and she got very thin. And I didn't realize it was because she was going to take over the throne. So of course she had a lot of pressure. She overcame that. She married her personal trainer, who was also her nutritionist, and lived happily ever after and is healthy and well. She will still inherit the throne and her children will have the HRH. By the way, King Gustav's wife Sylvia, Brazilian, just so you know. Okay. The siblings of Princess Victoria, which is Prince Carl Philip and the Royal Highness Princess Madeleine, agree. They love it. They think it's a great idea. Let the children have their own privacy and have their own path without all the pomp and circumstance. So they're all agreeing to that. And to solidify that, there was a picture taken of King Gustav and Princess Victoria and her daughter, who will also inherit the throne when the time comes. That's Princess Estelle. The Danes, well, their story's a little bit more complicated. Queen Margaret has two sons. One is very much like Prince William, who is very serious, has a wife and children and so on, normal. And then we have Prince Joachim, who decided that he would marry a lady from Hong Kong. He had two sons. Then he divorced her, had an affair, not during the marriage, although he was hanging out with his second wife during the marriage. No. But anyway, he goes on to marry her, the second wife, and has two more children with her. He moves to France and takes ill in France, but also remains in France, in Paris. And because he has decided he's exiled, because he had a lot of jealousy and he didn't feel he was treated the same, whatever, which is the equivalent of Harry. Let's say he was more party going. The two sons from that first marriage were not allowed to leave Denmark. They had to stay in Denmark. And the Chinese wife, she got very involved in charity and made her life in Denmark very easily. He goes on to marry a second lady and they exile themselves to France because he gets wind that somehow he's not going to get titles for any of his children, which I think is unfair. I do think the first wife in good faith and their children who were had in good faith and had to stay in Denmark according to law in good faith, I think they should get the titles, the first two at least. But no, Queen Margaret decides that none of them are getting titles. And he feels very upset about that. And his wife is very upset too, that they don't have any titles anymore. And she is saying that it was not their choice. And so that kind of reminds us of Meghan. Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are worried of being iced out from the royal family amid demotion. And I'm bringing this up now because how are you going to leave the family and then say you were demoted? You demoted yourself, right? Am I going crazy? Meghan Markle and Prince Harry are said to be concerned that they are being iced out of the British royal family. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex were demoted to the bottom of the official royal website alongside the disgraced Prince Andrew. Well, I think it's just because they're non-working royals. Prince Andrew no longer works and they no longer work either. I don't think it's because they're somehow the same as him in terms of their actions. You know what I mean? The PDF file word. This is so insane to me. Harry and Meghan must be worried that they are slowly being eased out of the royal picture, he revealed on Wednesday. King Charles seems to be hesitating on whether to grant Prince and Princess titles to Archie and Lilibet. And the fact that they have been demoted on the palace website is another indicator that they are not seen as working royals. But they're not, but they said they're not. They said they're stepping back. And then they left another two other countries. What's going on? The king will want to make clear that they are not working royals and can't pose as semi-official royals, he added. Right, that needs to be made very clear. I agree. One thing that really triggers me, we are so over that commercial for the dishwashing liquid. We're so over that advert. Okay, darling. You were 11 years old. A lot of people wrote letters. A lot of people did to a lot of places in their lives. People had pen pals. Did you know that? People had pen pals back in that day. I mean, people wrote letters. Oh my goodness. Why are we awarding an 11-year-old for writing a letter and we're still talking about equality? Gender equality is no longer a thing. You know, women's suffrage. I mean, we've been through it all. So why are you trying to look for something that's already been accomplished? Why are you belaboring the dishwashing ad? That's all I want to know. We're tired of it. And we're done and we're through. Thank you for watching me. Please don't forget to share and subscribe and press the bell notification and like it. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Thank you.